So I'm sure you don't need me to tell you how valuable XRP will be in 2025, but you may need me to let you know what to look out for. Well, as of this morning, Ripple adopts the Chainlink standard to further Ripple USD utility and access in DeFi. Listen, I'm gonna have to admit something to you guys right now. We will cover more Chainlink in 2025. It's an asset I should have covered years ago, quite frankly. I've touched on it here and there. We talked a lot about Chainlink more recently on the channel because Chainlink has done this before. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about in this episode. So let me not waste any more time. If you're new, welcome. My name is Wade, and you're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in the space since 2019, and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. And the only reason I sit here is to share all that knowledge with you. All I ask in return, hit that like button. But please, don't do it for me. Got to drop down one for Ripple. Got to drop one down for XRP, or if you've been holding Link for years behind the scenes and in the shadows, you definitely deserve a like on this one. So let's dig into this, folks, because you guys know when it comes to Chainlink, they offer a very important resource to these blockchain networks, and that is off-chain data or real-world data. And I think that leans heavily into why this relationship formed. I'm also going to share with you a couple theories about how I think this relationship formed, but we'll get to that later. Let's jump into the release. So Ripple is now leveraging the Chainlink standard to bring high quality pricing data around the Ripple USD stablecoin on chain. By adopting the Chainlink standard for verifiable data on the Ethereum blockchain, Ripple is enhancing the utility of RLUSD across the on-chain economy. Chainlink price feeds are now providing a secure, reliable source of RLUSD pricing data on Ethereum's mainnet, enabling developers to integrate support for RLUSD in their DeFi applications for such use cases as trading, lending, and more. So right away here, I am already seeing people. Once I posted this story in the community tab, as a matter of fact, instantly one of you asked, what about Flare? We're going to touch on why. There's a whole section for that in this episode. But I want to show you a little bit of context where Chainlink did this before. So we just talked about how a few months back, Hedera adopted Chainlink's data standards to propel their DeFi and, as you can see here, RWA tokenization. So understand, that is on the back end of this. As Ripple's stablecoin gets more attention and more utility, thanks to relationships like Chainlink, this opens the door for RWAs. Another reason I bring up the Hedera example is because after the data standards or the price feeds were integrated, or Hedera's integrated Chainlink's price feeds, Hedera also integrated their proof of reserves, which if you have a stable coin, that's something you're going to need, as well as the CCIP, which we'll touch on a little bit later. So I'm leaning on that as being a bit of a strategy. First, we let you incorporate the price feeds. You get adjusted to making use of Chainlink's tools, because once you get access to the price feeds, you're essentially exposed to Chainlink's entire toolkit, which is how I believe they went from price feeds on Hedera to proof of reserves and then the CCIP. So that's how I'm looking at this, guys. And just to define price feeds a little bit further, Chainlink's data feeds provide data that is aggregated from many data sources by a decentralized set of independent node operators. So to simplify that, what Chainlink does when it offers price feeds to a particular network, it builds a composite of price information from everywhere, its own networks as well as off-chain sources. Now, there's no telling what those sources might be, but because Chainlink has been the #1 network gathering all of this data since as far back as 2016, 17. Somebody correct me on that. But we're talking nearly 10 years worth of data here. So if anybody has the correct price feed for any asset, it has to be Chainlink. So RLUSD made this move not only from a business perspective, but it's from a security perspective as well, because you want to verify that the RLUSD price is $1. And it's not just you telling me it's $1. Trust me, bro. No. In the world of blockchain, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just trusting, but verifying that you need to really pay attention to. This was that move. RLUSD, they knew they were going to be trusted because they had the name Ripple behind them, but they wanted to be verified on chain. That's why they went to Chainlink. Really all in the name, right there in our faces, guys. Like I said, 2025, covering more Chainlink. Expected. As a matter of fact, members of the committee, got some content coming to you this week. We are going to be discussing what I will be holding for the rest of this cycle. This right here, though, very interesting. Something else that wasn't mentioned in the original press release, but I feel will be very applicable, especially for what Ripple intends RLUSD to become. So in October, Chainlink launched the Chainlink runtime environment. And to simplify all of this text here, this basically combines all of Chainlink's capabilities to create customized apps and unlock use cases not bound by any chain, off-chain resource, or product integration. I can only imagine what the potential of that will be. And it appears that Chainlink, well, let me correct my phrasing here. It appears that the smart networks see what Chainlink is preparing to do, and they're now attaching themselves to Chainlink, right? Now, since we're talking about RLUSD, guys, just want to remind you real quick, the only place in the market to get yield on your RLUSD stablecoin is Uphold. Links to that will be in the description as well as the pinned comment. Now, another big question, like I mentioned, was why not Flare? So let's talk about this for a second. So Flare's position in relation to the XRP ledger is to introduce smart contract functionalities. As you can tell by the diagram here, I'll highlight this portion where you see XRPL's, the XRP logo as well as the XLM logo. And you'll see this too. This is a one-to-one value. So what this is, it's a essentially wrapped or tokenized version of XRP that lives on the Flare blockchain. And as DeFi improves on Flare, as in DeFi ecosystem gets built on Flare, DeFi grows on Flare, then it will grow on XRP as well because of the connection that they have. And as you can see, any other asset that will become an F asset. So to understand them and their differences, the XRP token itself had difficulties running smart contracts, as opposed to the RLUSD, which is described in this article here as being natively, it's actually further down here, natively composable with smart contract applications such as those seen in DeFi. So the reason why not Flare is because RLUSD already had smart contracts. Flare's whole value prop when they entered the market was to bring smart contract functionality to the XRP token, thusly the XRP ledger, which is truly interesting when you really think about it. Because I don't recall any meetings prior to 2022 saying that, Hugo, you can build out an entire ecosystem and make the XRP ledger your #1 value proposition, your main target. Because that's what all of the promotion around Flare was in late 2021 leading up to their launch in 2022, was how much they were going to bring to the XRP ecosystem. Now that we're here, and F assets have launched, we have an idea of what this is going to look like. I have gathered the conclusion, I've come to the conclusion that it's a situation like this. You have Flare on one side, Chainlink on the other. Because we all know RLUSD requires the XRP ledger in order to do its thing. So you have Flare on the XRP ledger side, and you have Chainlink on the RLUSD side. Obviously, RLUSD aimed more towards institutional, large value, high net worth clientele. For Flare and FXRP, that's more so the retail, small to medium sized enterprise level. And that's perfectly fine because the same functionality, let me show you this, can happen on both angles, whether you're using Chainlink or you're using Flare. This is another lovely diagram. Shout out to the researcher XX1123, tied in with Whiplash 347, as well as the guys who put together this little number here. But I must say to you, I have a bit of an issue with your research, gentlemen. You forgot about Chainlink. Completely forgot about Chainlink. Don't worry, I am putting something together to fix that. That's what we're going to be discussing in our membership section this week of the channel. So, hope I broke that down to you simply enough. The XRP token can't do smart contracts, right? Not like everyone else can. Flare decided to fix that by creating a tokenized version of XRP on the Flare network. As DeFi on Flare grows, then DeFi on XRP will also grow. You can also see here through this diagram, Ethereum is there. There's always going to be an aspect, an element to these updates, this adoption that includes a connection to Ethereum because Ethereum has the largest user base. It's almost like this. Ethereum, because it has gotten so big, serves as the spark to a lot of other networks, right? And as you'll see in a minute, the core of Ethereum's DeFi came from Chainlink price feeds. Something I tried to point that out to y'all in the Hedera episode. And then this is another diagram I want to share with you, courtesy of XX1133. I said 23 earlier. But the state connector, the Flare state connector, is the portion of Flare's toolkit that allows for off-chain data to be brought on-chain. The exact same thing that Chainlink is doing for RLUSD. So, to answer the question, why not Flare? Well, they didn't need to because, again, the RLUSD stablecoin already is smart contract capable. It was the XRP token that had trouble computing smart contracts in the sense that we're used to that Flare decided to attach itself to. So, I'm looking at this, a simplified version of, again, RLUSD and Link connects the institutional, high value, high net worth clientele. XRP token, XRP ledger, and Flare network in the form of the F asset is for the small to medium enterprises, retail players, everyday people looking to get into DeFi. But the common thread here is the XRP ledger. None of it would happen without the XRP ledger. So, I hope I made that clear enough for you guys, because like I mentioned, there's more to Chainlink's toolkit that I'm curious will be coming next. Number one being CCIP. Take a look at the networks that they have on mainnet. And here's another educational lesson for you. These are the mainnet networks. These would be considered coins. On this side, these are the tokens that live on these mainnet blockchain networks or on top of these coins. Just I love to place that in there. Again, something you'll learn in blockchain basics, downloadable PDF for you to give you everything you need to know about the basics of blockchain. Now, you can see the networks that they have connected here: Celo, BNB, Ethereum, Gnosis, Avalanche, Base, Arbitrum 1. If you take a look at the DeFi ecosystems for these networks, it is insane. It is an insane amount of value, ladies and gentlemen. So this insane amount of value did not come until they got paired with Chainlink. I'm gonna show you this here, and yeah, you may have seen me back on the X machine recently. Okay, it's a valuable tool. Just didn't know what I was doing a couple years ago. I do now. So take a look at this though. Chainlink at the intersection of three key trends: society's growing trust issues, oracles and smart contracts, and the new global financial system. Avert your attention to the left side of the screen here. Chainlink's decentralized operating network has seen significant adoption and is likely a driver of DeFi's growth to $203 billion. This was 2022, and this was Bank of America saying Chainlink was the #1 driver. So I said that earlier in relation to Ethereum's DeFi growth. I wasn't playing. This is where I got it from. So on top of that, guys, we need to now have the discussion about stablecoins. Okay? Now, we got the clip here, courtesy of Mr. Brad, the guy, right? I want to jump forward to a minute 36 because he explains the key differences between, well, not differences. He explains how RLUSD and the XRP ledger work together. Check this out.
I think we do have our own balance sheet that, if problems were to exist, we were in a position to actually help solve those. So now, how will it coexist with XRP? Well, first of all, any liquidity on the XRP ledger is a good thing. It's good for the whole XRP ecosystem, and the more liquidity on there, including stablecoins, it reduces friction and the ability to do things, particularly in the DeFi world. There's some native technologies embedded in the XRP ledger, a decentralized exchange, a DEX, a AMM, automated market maker, and embedding a stablecoin, a robust stablecoin, a trusted stablecoin like RLUSD, we think will actually help that. I don't think it competes with XRP as a different solution because really we think about that as the bridge currency, right? So RLUSD, RLUSD is $1. The bridge currency is going in and out of other currencies, and having the most liquid, most efficient bridge currency between various currencies around the world, we think is a needed solution in scaling global commerce.
Okay, so he said, one, RLUSD is vital to the liquidity of the XRP ledger. So the more RLUSD transactions on the XRP ledger, the more liquidity on the ledger, and the better the ledger can perform. Last time I checked, I believe there were roughly already 33,863 transactions on the XRP ledger. Don't ask me how I know that exact number, all right, Twitter. And the number stood out, 33. I turned 33 this year. Digressing. Compared to less than 1,200 on Ethereum so far. Fitting. Knew that was going to happen. I believe I said that too. The moment people realize it's much easier and faster and scalable on the XRP ledger, they would be using the XRP ledger. So, second thing he mentioned here was that in this scenario, the XRP token serves as a bridge currency. We broke that down when we compared XRP to the XLM network and token, and we learned that not only is it a bridge currency, but what the ledger specializes in is the conversion of currencies. So yes, you would definitely need the liquidity in order to support the currency conversion. So based on what he's saying, and again, the overarching theme here is the stablecoin, is that the RLUSD stablecoin does not compete with XRP. In fact, it is another tributary that will feed liquidity back to the ledger itself. And with the combination of Chainlink's price data feeds, that liquidity can now come from Ethereum. It can come from Base. It can come from Binance. Because again, the price data feeds, they're drawing from multiple sources. in order to create the best composite for the data that you're looking for. And if Ripple plans on exploring the rest of Chainlink's toolkit, then that's where things really get exciting. If the name of the game for RLUSD is to bring in liquidity, well, they definitely just linked up with the right person. So, just want to show you this really quick again, guys. I'm loving this PDF here. I am already getting a lot of feedback about it. Helps people understand DeFi in a very easy way. And again, you'll see down here as one of the most important elements of DeFi under number 5 is stable coins. Outside of that, it's connected to lending and borrowing, yield farming, much like Uphold and RLUSD's relationship. But if you download this PDF, DeFi Made Simple, you also learn that DeFi, another crucial component to DeFi, is having your own decentralized exchange, as well as automated market makers and smart contracts. So notice how he said when talking about the XRP ledger, he didn't mention smart contracts, but they have an automated market maker as well as their own decentralized exchange. This is very true. So to that point, we must assume that the very next move here will be to incorporate Chainlink's standard into the XRP ledger, because as it stands right now, as they described here, right here, this will at first feed data to Ethereum, to and from Ethereum. But you're naturally going to run into a problem if most of your transactions are taking place on the XRP ledger. Now we are going to wake up this year. There's another prediction for 2025. We're going to wake up this year, and this headline, this time is going to read XRP Ledger and Chainlink. And boom goes the dynamite at that point. And I believe fully that the same process is going to repeat. Now, to this point, guys, okay, why didn't nobody tell me just how deep Chainlink was? Like, no, not this one. Donald Trump is buying Chainlink? Yeah, somebody could have screamed this at me in the comments. Y'all scream everything else at me, but nobody talked about this. Again, Chainlink is going to be on the radar. And just for the record, guys, RLUSD's biggest competition, honestly, already got Chainlink's data feeds and the proof of reserves and DCC IP. So I said in the last episode, when we talked about RLUSD, they would have to expand. This is how they're doing it. This is exactly how they're doing it. And they got to move fast because somebody brought Justin Sun into this, didn't they? They did. I don't think they should have, but there's nothing we can do about that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, please download your DHN Starter Kit, Blockchain Starter Kit for 2025. Obviously, it's treacherous out here, so you're going to need some tools, some ideas, some resources to navigate your way through this crypto space, and that I did my best to put all of those things within this 3-page document. We went from 6 pages to 3 pages. Progress. By 2026, I'm gonna get it down to 1 page. Probably won't be as valuable then. But either way, man, if you're new to the space, I know how you feel. I remember being in your shoes, okay? 2019 is not that long ago. That is 2 cycles and 1.5 cycle. I'm in my 2nd cycle here going through it. So I can't call it a complete cycle until the back end of 2026. Still, though, learning as I go. And I wish I had a tool like this one to help along with that process. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.